Hey, you wanna know something cool? Rivers of Blood and Bloodhound Step have been nerfed! I know what you also might be thinking.
What year is it?
But hey, better late than never, right? Hello, my fellow Tarnished, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the next major big deal Elden Ring patch 1.06 with some massive changes that will make the game ever better. Two big, just general function changes off the bat that are really cool is that you can complete Vare's questline now without actually doing proper multiplayer, but you can defeat a new invading NPC, so we can get to Mogwin Palace without being online really quickly. So that's nice, but what is nicer is that now when you invade, you can invade a huge area, multiple areas of the map at once, multiple legacy dungeons at once, which means you don't have to constantly teleport around the map trying to get an invasion. As numbers dwindle, it takes like 10 minutes an invasion. Now we're back to a good 30 to 60 seconds per invading because we're invading everywhere, and quite frankly this should always have been a feature. It's really neat. So this classic invasion where I of course triumphantly find my way in the Mogwin Palace only to immediately get kicked out straight away. But the neat part is it was an invasion from Limgrave, and that's very, very cool. So, what else is very, very cool? Great swords, curved swords, great hammers, and great axes all have had the following change. You can roll quicker after an attack. So, basically, less recovery forced upon you before you can get out of there if you don't like where you've ended up. And that's really, really nice. Making big weapons better is always good, as big weapons, let's be honest, are the best weapons. And then great swords, curved swords, and great hammers in particular, well, their heavy attacks, both strong and charged, are now faster, which is great. I'm not sure great sword itself needed it, but it's very good for curved great sword and great hammers, so that's really, really nice. Then we have one massive change. Glintstone Pebble, and to a lesser extent Glintstone Dart, but that wasn't really as used, has finally had its huge stagger power lost, along with a hefty hit to its damage too, but it is no longer the guaranteed you're dead if you land the pebble part. It's now just a bit of damage, and that's all good. The stagger is there on the follow-up, but obviously the follow-up becomes much harder to hit now that the actual pebble doesn't guarantee it. So that's very good, as it was one of the most kind of broken things in the entirety of PvP. Then we have Bloodhound Step, and indeed Quick Step 2. Both of them go now further when on light equip load, but they have reduced performance when used consecutively, i.e. they go less distance and they take longer to start up, and in general you're going to find yourself going slower and slower the longer you spam them, which should prevent a lot of PvP fights from looking like instant transmission battles. Though, that said, it goes a little bit further. We also have Quick Step specifically. You actually go further using it on a light equip load, so it becomes better than Bloodhounds if you're not wearing a lot of armor. And in general, and this is a big one, your roll distance is further if you're on light equip load. So they've basically just buffed normal rolling for people that don't like to wear a lot of heavy armor. You combine this buff with the nerf of Bloodhound Step, and now, well, this. Yeah, you can catch a Bloodhound Step spammer by just rolling normally after them, and you will overtake them and stab them. That's what I call fantastic. Then, on the realm of fantastic, the Corpse Piler, the Ash of War of the Rivers of Blood, has been nerfed. The damage it does, and more importantly, the bleed build-up, have both been nerfed. The damage has been hit more than the bleed, but both combined make this now a much more manageable weapon, and not a death sentence to just get caught by the first 3 attacks of its massive range. If you get hit by the actual sword part, and not like the Bloodwave part, it's still nerfed, but just not as much. But basically, I think this has now lost its perch as the single most awful thing to face in Elden Ring. Maybe. Then we go to Stars of Ruin, which has lost its ability to track effectively, meaning that you can't just spam it against someone and watch them slowly die and flail while they can't really do anything about it, which as a sorcerer makes me very, very sad, but as a believer in balanced PvP, yeah, okay. I don't think it was that bad. It's not like it was everywhere, but yes, it was particularly powerful, and that's pretty neat. Following this, then, we just have a cavalcade of bug fixes, hitbox stuff, general, like, oh, your character's randomly died stuff, area stuff, you know, things that aren't really that crazy, but do make the game a little bit better. The deathbed dress has had a load of its bugs fixed, but I guarantee you that it will still have a lot of bug fixes left to do, because goddamn, that is the most broken piece of equipment in the entire game.
But at least it makes you look pretty.
Anyway, we also have what I think is quite the sad one, Rock Blaster. This used to not consume any FP when cast in your left hand with a staff, with nothing equipped in the right hand, and that kind of made it a ridiculously good spammable level clearing spell, and now that has essentially just gone kaput, so yeah, it was a bug, and that's fair enough, but I really did enjoy it. And then if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, my favorite change from this entire patch is Sword of Saint Trina. There was a bug that when you got hit while the blade was buffed up, the buff would just drop, you would lose it, and it made the weapon obviously so much worse. Unless you're like me and you never get hit anyway, so you didn't even know this was a bug. But no, the sleep swords are fantastic, but you can't really just trade with people because then you get your sleep mist turned off and you become a lot weaker. Whereas now, if you get hit, you still keep your sleep buff, and I cannot stress how much better that has made these already really good weapons. Like, they are significantly bumped up a tier, if we want to put it like that, and that is very exciting, because I think they're absolutely fantastic. So, that then is about that. Be honest, I honestly thought we weren't going to get another major patch, just like in general, like maybe until like the first DLC or something, but I'm not complaining either way. It's just been a long time since the last one. I will leave a full link to the whole notes down below, so you can have a look at the nitty gritty if you want, but this is your, for want of a better words, highlight reel. For now, like you've enjoyed this, what change are you most excited for? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Elden Ring goodness, and until we meet again, consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. Oh god.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.